Every civilization has its own mythology, its own pantheon of deities to whom it looks for guidance and protection. And no pantheon is more well known throughout history than that of the Romans. With their tales of adventure, heroism, and tragedy echoing through millennia, these stories have captured the imaginations of countless people around the world. But there's more to these myths than meets the eye. Today we look at the Roman gods who built and broke an empire. Let's get started. Rome was not built in a day, nor was it built by one person, but by many hands over several centuries. And so it was in the ancient world, whether you were a simple peasant or an all-conquering emperor. Rome was a city that rewarded hard work and diligence with success. So it should come as no surprise that one of the most important Roman gods was that of labor. The god of craftsmanship, artisans, boundaries, and yes, work. Not much is known about his origins, but he eventually became one of the most important of the 12 Olympians. In fact, he had quite the illustrious lineage, being the son of the king of the gods himself, Jupiter. He had a titan named Ops. His wife was the goddess of fertility, and their son was none other than Saturn. Yes, this is the Saturn of Saturnalia, and the father of the first Olympians. Quite the interesting family tree, eh? Anyway, in Roman culture, he was associated with peace and prosperity, which is why his temple was located in the Forum, the center of public life in ancient Rome. It was here that the Vestal virgins made their home. These maidens were sacred to Vesta, and their duty was to tend the sacred fire that burned within her temple. This fire was said to be a fragment of the celestial fire, brought back from the Titans by none other than Romulus after he founded the city of Rome. Speaking of Romulus, it is he who we have to thank for the presence of another very important Roman deity, one whose worship spread to every corner of the empire. Originally a Sabine, the name given to the Italic tribes who lived in central Italy before the rise of Rome. This particular one was raised by shepherds. As an adult, he went on to become a great hero, the slayer of monsters and the founder of Rome. Not bad, of course, when it comes to his relationship with Remus, his twin brother. Stories vary, but the most popular account goes something like this. After killing his brother in a fit of anger, Romulus went on to become the first king of Rome. He reigned over his people wisely and justly, but his greatest accomplishment was founding the Roman legion. With their distinctive eagle standards and their oath of loyalty to Rome and its people, they went undefeated in war. Eventually, however, he met his end at the hands of his own son. Numa, don't ask me for the details, because even I am a little confused on that one. But it is said that Romulus's ghost appeared to him in a dream and told him that he would one day be deified. And true to his word, Romulus was soon accepted into the ranks of the Olympians. His temple, located on the Palatine Hill, was one of the most important in Rome. It contained a small statue of Romulus in his wolf skin and a painting depicting the legendary scene where he was nursed to health by a she-wolf. Each year a festival was held in his honor, and during it, young men would parade around the city in full military regalia, shouting to arms, to arms. Even outside of Rome, statues of Romulus could be found in places as far away as Alexandria and the island of Delos. Now, let's be honest, there are a lot of inconsistencies in Romulus's story. Scholars are still working to piece it together. But what is clear is that he was seen as a symbol of Rome's greatness, a reminder of its humble beginnings and its destiny to rule the world. Another major power couple in the Roman pantheon were the deities of the sky and the earth. Father and son, Jupiter and Neptune. Their story is a complicated one, but their domains were not only vast, they were also crucial to the Roman way of life. As you may have noticed, Jupiter was the king of the gods and the god of the sky, whether thunder and lightning. You know, the big stuff. He was usually depicted as an imposing figure carrying a thunderbolt, the weapon of choice for any self-respecting deity. On the other hand, his brother Neptune was the god of the sea, earthquakes, and horses. Unlike his brother, he was a lot more chill, spending most of his time hanging out with his buddies, the other Olympians, or just chilling on his dolphin throne. Now, as you can imagine, when two deities as powerful as Jupiter and Neptune set their sights on the same thing, it can cause a bit of a problem, especially when that thing is an entire region of land. You see, when the brothers divided up the world, Jupiter got the sky and Neptune got the sea. Simple, right? Well, not exactly. See, both gods claimed dominion over the Italian peninsula, and so they went to war. Jupiter unleashed his thundering cattle upon the earth, while Neptune sent giant horses to trample his brother's forces. The fighting was fierce, but in the end, the winner was none other than the humans. That's right. While the gods were busy duke it out, the people of Latium took the opportunity to flee to the safety of a nearby hill. Seeing this, the gods called a truce and decided to settle for something a little less catastrophic. An earthquake. That's right. It literally shook the earth in order to determine who would win. So the winner was the one who was able to stand the tallest afterwards, and guess who won? That's right, neither. It was the humans again. They were deemed superior to the gods themselves and allowed to keep their land. So yeah, maybe don't provoke them. But it wasn't only their physical power that made them so formidable. It was also their wisdom and cunning, which is why another hugely influential god was Mercury, the messenger of the gods. Depicted as a winged sandal-wearing, staff-carrying traveler, he was the patron of merchants, travelers, thieves, and messengers. He was also the god of commerce, communication, education, language, writing, poetry, and messengers. And his influence was felt throughout the empire, not just because of his association with trade, but also because of his temples, which were strategically placed near roads and crossroads. In fact, a number of Roman roads were said to have been built by Mercury himself, making him a kind of patron saint of infrastructure. Now, despite his many accomplishments, he had a bit of a reputation for being a bit of a trickster. One time he was tasked with delivering a message to the giant typhoon, who was, as you can imagine, a little difficult to deliver messages to. So Mercury did what any good messenger would do. He used his powers of persuasion to convince Typhoeus to let him mount his back, and then, once he was in position, he stuck a dagger in his neck and knocked him off his feet. Talk about a close call. Anyway, those are just a few of the Roman gods who helped to build the Roman Empire. Obviously, there were many others, each with their own unique powers, domains, and of course quirks. But together, they formed a pantheon that was not only representative of the values and beliefs of the Roman people, but also a force to be reckoned with.
Thanks for watching.